Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. This is going to be a video response, actually one of a couple I'm going to do today, to the Omaha Introvert, her 500 subscribers contest. For those of you watching my channel, maybe that don't know hers, make sure you get a chance to go over there and check it out. I'll try to remember to put a link down below here. She's been in the VC for a few months now, I believe, but definitely kind of fits right in. Just another person who just loves music and has a nice range and taste and variety in music, and just kind of fits right into the VC here. So I just wanted to jump on board and do a response to her 500 subscribers contest. So let's kind of dive right in. The first question was, where do you live? She kind of mentioned just being curious and getting an idea about where people are that are subscribing to her channel and checking her out and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely one of those people that our former president referred to as, clinching to my guns and religion kind of people. So I'm I'm definitely from the Midwest and damn proud of it. And I live a little bit south of St. Louis is kind of the area of the country that I live in. So that's where I call home. The next question was the best sounding LP on vinyl, or just something you have that really kind of pops in your speakers and all that good stuff. And that was actually pretty easy because I was having this very conversation with a guy that works at a record store about a week and a half ago. We were just having this conversation, and I remember telling him about, if I can get this where there's no glare there we go, about this right here, which is the David Bowie box set. And actually, it's all three of them, but this just happens to be the one that I was talking about that day, because the night before I was playing Logger there, and I just remember even just saying it to myself as I was listening to it, just like, God, these Bowie pressings just sound freaking perfect. I mean, it's just, they're, I don't know, it's like you get the warmth and the fullness of the vinyl, and then you're also getting the kind of the crisp nature of the digital as well. And it's just, I don't know, I have nothing bad to say about these pressings at all. And it's not just this box set, it's all three of them, And so I've never purchased or listened to any of the individual reissues that have come out, but I'm assuming they're the exact same as what came in the box sets. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone who has both might know. But what came in these three box sets is just, I think, some of the best pressings I've ever heard. Matter of fact, if anything, the only disappointing thing on a few pieces inside of each box set are the covers. They just seem like the sleeves were a little, on some, they could have done a better quality with the sleeves, but I mean, the vinyl themselves are just, I mean, perfect. And then CD wise, I did want to pull this out because whenever you start talking about things that sound fantastic, Neil Lofgren's Acoustic Live is, I think, a great CD that really sounds amazing. Definitely one of my favorite live recordings. And one of the things that I pull out if I ever demo my system to someone for the first time, as I'm sure a lot of people kind of know, the song Keith Don't Go is one that just makes your system really just sound, I mean, talk about making your system pop. That's definitely a good one. So that's what I would pick for that question. Number 3, what decade or era of music is your least favorite? Just about everything in the 2000s. But I can't really say that, though. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out now, and in the past 10 plus years, that there's a ton of it that I just do not like across all genres. But I can still go in and kind of, pick out things that I do love. So I can't really pick that as an answer. So I would actually go back to, like, let's say, like, from maybe the early mid-90s to the early mid-2000s. That era of, like, house type music, that's just stuff that I don't get. Like house type music, or like, rave type music, like, and because I mean, I think most of you guys in the VC here know me, and you kind of know that my musical taste is all over the place. And no matter how cheesy or whatever else, like if it sounds good to me, I take it in. And I have so much stuff from so many different areas. That's the one genre and one place where I cannot find virtually anything that I like in that genre. So that's kind of what I would end up picking, that early 90s to early 2000s house music type of stuff or whatever. I don't get that genre. Alright, question 4. 5 psych albums that we might recommend. So let me shuffle around. I got a bunch of stuff pulled out for a couple of videos, so make sure I get to the right stack. Okay, here we go. Alright, so the first one here, we're going to go with Jefferson Airplane. As you can see there, Surrealistic Pillow. You know, I think this is kind of one of those standards. You know, you have stuff like Somebody to Love, White Rabbit, you know, a bunch of different things on here, but it's just that great slick, you know, that perfect melting of classic rock and psychedelic stuff. And I just think this is kind of a core piece to start off any good psych collection. And keep in mind too, I'm still in the very, very, very early stages of understanding and discovering psych bands and stuff like that, because it's a genre that I want to definitely dive into a lot more, and I'm not, you know, I'm not very knowledgeable about it at this point. So I've just been picking up stuff from VC members, and Diana's kind of a good example. If you ever see her channel, I mean, between the jazz fusion and the psychedelic stuff, like she's introduced me to so much stuff. But these are some of the things I think that are kind of more core, you know, initially you want to have these in your collection type of thing. And I think this is one that arguably could be the first psychedelic album that anyone should own, which is the 13th Floor Elevators. You know, and again, that's just kind of a classic one. And, you know, You're Gonna Miss Me is a very, very fantastic song that that really kind of, you know, rushes in the feel of this album. Next one here, The Golden Dawn Power Plant. I've always described this album as my favorite Beatles album. and of course it's not the Beatles, it's The Golden Dawn. But I say that because every time I listen to this always makes me think, like, this is what I wish the Beatles would sound like. Because again, those of you that know me for a while know that I'm not a huge Beatles fan. You know, and again, I say this all the time, but it's like, yeah, I like their music. You know, they were biggest thing that ever happened to rock and roll, but just as far as their music and how great they are and blah blah blah, they're really just like any other band to me. I'm just not a huge Beatles fan. But again, every time I listen to this album, it always makes me kind of think, man, if the Beatles did more stuff that was like this and blah blah blah, that I would be a bigger fan. So again, that's kind of the way I would describe that. It's just the Beatles being a little bit more psychedelic-y with this particular album. That's my feel. You know, you may listen to it and get a totally different vibe. This is one of my favorites here, Fever Tree, and one of the first ones I picked up when I was getting into the psych side of things. And my favorite song on here, the one I would say to listen to kind of demo it, is Where Do You Go? And I really like that song, and the way I've always described that one is when you're watching like an Austin Powers movie and you hear all that different psychedelic stuff they'll play with background music. That's one of those songs that would fit right into that feel. And I really love that too, that stuff that they play on Austin Powers, like that's what I think and feel when I think about psychedelic music. And again, as I go deeper, you know, I'm sure I'll discover more stuff, but yeah, Where Do You Go is definitely the song I recommend checking off of this album initially, but yeah, Fever Tree is definitely a good one. And another one which I think maybe a lot of psych collectors might say is a kind of a mandatory piece to have in your collection, The Seed. And again, if you're going to kind of pop online and check out one song, Pushing Too Hard is probably the song that I would say pops to me off of this album. But yeah, so those would kind of just be 5 initial core pieces, and if I was going back and starting my Psych collection all over again, those would be 5 of the initial albums that I would definitely want to have in my collection. Alright, and last but not least, the bonus question. You guys are cat lovers, so you want us to share something that had a cat on it. So it made me think of this album cover, which of course is Budgie there, impeccable. Clearly there's a cat on the cover of this album. And it's kind of funny too, because you see the cover there with the, poor little bird, and the cat's about to jump up there and eat him and swallow them all up. And then you turn on the back side. Nope, it was the bird stalking the cat. So I don't know if that helps with you guys being cat lovers. But yeah, so there you go. And outside of the funny looking cover, great freaking album. I mean, it's a good rock album right there. My introduction to them actually was this album. So there you go, VC. And okay, I thought I missed the question there for a second. Yeah, so there you go. Like I said, just wanted to kind of pay my respects to your 500 subscribers contest. Again, congratulations, and we will look forward to you doing your 1,000 subscribers contest. All right, take care, VC, and we will talk to you soon.